Here is Jeff, the host of the Gridiron.
Welcome to the Gridiron, baby. If you give this video a thumbs up and maybe share this video, that would be absolutely freaking phenomenal. If you subscribe to my channel, thank you. If not, please go down below. Hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or if I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. It's totally free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are, let's go subscribe to my channel. Thank you. If you want to help support my channel out, description box below, very top link takes you to my membership page. I've got 3 different membership levels. Each one has their own little perks to them. So once again, if you want to help support my channel out, it would mean so much to me. And I thank you in advance. Thank you. And then finally, just underneath that, there's another link in there somewhere. Takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. We have over 9,700 members in the group. It is doing simply marvelous, might I add. Basically, if I'm alive and breathing and if I got internet access, I am putting stuff I am putting stuff in that group darn near 365. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's my Facebook group. Please join it. You will not be dissatisfied. I promise. All right. Well, the stuff just keeps on rolling on here, guys. Of course, there's the we're going to talk about a couple free agents out there that's always, morons like me keep reading those ads. A lot of stuff going on. But one of them I saw was, a lot of things, at least for the most part, being said relatively nice, about Mr. Dart here. Hey, what's going on? Hope to get you where you are. Hope to get to where you are with my pun. All right. Well, I got it's a lot of work. So best of luck to you. Just keep grinding away. But one thing you gotta remember too, right, is that if you enjoy what you do, love what you do, and all that stuff, you're never working a day in your life, right? So I mean, I would basically do this for nothing. This is just a lot of fun. A lot of fun. I really enjoy it. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of things out there, that get me excited and all that. I'm a Met fan. I'm a Knick fan. I'm a Ranger fan. All that. But it's the Giants. That's what gets me. That's what really gets me going. So I do this. This is fun. I really enjoy this. Especially being up at 11:20 on a Monday night talking about the Giants, right? It's a lot of fun. You do it from your heart. But one thing I've seen a lot about is like with Jaxson Dart. A lot of good things. Obviously, there are some negative things I've seen. Obviously, the Giants could have drafted John Elway or Jesus Christ or Peyton Manning, and of course there'd be some negative stuff said about it anyway. But a couple things that they seem to really like about him quite a bit. We'll be talking about a couple things here as far as with the quarterback here, but this one here, one of the things. This is. Jaxson Dart had the it factor for the Giants. Since being hired by the Giants, Joe Schoen has spoken about a process that he and head coach Brian Daboll have in place regarding player evaluation, particularly when Schoen is called the most important position on a team. Most pretty much in all sports. You need a goaltender, obviously, obviously in hockey, you need pitching in baseball, but the one that really, to me, it's the quarterback, right? If you don't have a real good quarterback, you need a real good team around you, but so they say the process leaves no stone unturned. from regular attendance at games to talking to coaches and people around the community who are familiar with the athlete to private workouts and interviews themselves. I mean, Shane's, said this before, and I brought this up before, on, my videos. One thing he talked about is, even just simple as just like, how does he treat the workers in the cafeteria? I mean, if he's got his tray out and he walks over to the cafeteria. Hey, let's get some meatloaf over here now. I'm the quarterback of the team. Let's go. I mean, does he do that, or is he? Hey, can I have some, some mashed potatoes with that too? Thank you so much. Right. When they're out at a restaurant, right? I mean, because they always take these guys out to eat too. This is huge. You know what I mean? They're sitting down, they're talking. Jaxson Dart's here. The guy comes and pours some water in Jaxson Dart's glass. Does Jaxson Dart go and continue talking to Shane, like this? Or, right, the guy pours glass in Jaxson Dart's, pours water in his glass, and Jaxson, thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. Thank you. And he goes back, that's huge. That's huge. I mean, that's not a deal breaker. Well, he didn't say thank you to the waiter, so we can't. He'll probably win us the next 37 Super Bowls in a row, but he didn't say thank you to the waiter who poured him water, so can't draft. No, I mean, that's not going to happen. But, it's all, I think I heard, especially with quarterbacks and all, nothing means everything, but everything means something. Right? Like, not saying thank you to the guy who's pouring your water. All right, that doesn't mean everything, but it means something. Right? So that this, so it's talking to their neighbors and stuff like that. Or, just for instance, I had, oh my God, I don't know, I suppose maybe about 20 years ago, I guess. It was a knock at the door, and it was a state trooper. And I'm like, open the door up. I'm like, what the, I'm like, am I getting arrested? What's going on? No, I mean, what the state trooper was going around, there was a guy down the street, a neighbor of mine for quite some time, who wanted to become a state trooper. And what happened? The state trooper, they send around people, right? Talk to his neighbors. How is he? He's a nice guy. How's he treat everybody? Stuff like that. Same thing with, and it's just not quarterbacks, right? They send people out to the colleges. How is he? How is he with the people? How is he in the classroom? How's he talk to the teachers? How is he this? So it's, as I said, everything isn't, or one thing isn't everything, but everything is something, right? So in Jaxson Dart, whom the Giants traded assets to acquire in this year's recently completed draft, the more the Giants dug into their evaluation process of the Kaysville, Utah native, the more they liked what they saw. And just to be honest with you, and now once again, I mean, there's all kind of steals in the, I certainly ain't calling this a steal. Right? We got to see what the guy can do. Right, because remember we had Dave Brown, supplemental draft pick, Dave Brown, right? So, but I mean, if this guy winds up being the long-term solution for the Giants, we gave up a second and 2/3. That's not too bad. We didn't even trade away a first-round pick. So, once again, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see. So SI.com Albert Breer dove into the details that went to the Giants' evaluation of Dart, including how they used their experience scouting Josh Allen. Now, there was another, oh my God, I don't know who wrote it. I don't know. There was another article that said how the Josh Allen experience helped the Giants get Dart or something like that. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Let me look at this article. And it took me about 3.5 months to read it. I'm like, I can't. This video will be 3.5 light years long. I mean, so I couldn't read it, but there was a good article long, in depth, and detail about how the Giants. I mean, obviously, right? Shane and Daboll were there when they got Josh Allen, which is huge. It was Josh Allen. Wasn't like it was John Elway. This guy, or Andrew Luck, or Peyton Manning, one of those guys that's come out, draft this guy. This, there's no question. This is your quarterback for the next, however many years. Just draft them, put them in there, turn them on, and we'll see you in 15 years, brother. Go win us some Super Bowl, right? Right? Josh Allen wasn't that. Josh Allen certainly can be that. He just has his hard time of beating the Chiefs. but Josh Allen, need to be a little polished, right? Kid out of Utah. Not Utah, Wyoming. Utah. From Wyoming, right? You need a little bit of polishing. So, and of course, in this draft class, wasn't as good as last year's quarterback draft class. Everybody needed a little bit of polishing. Even Cam Ward. Because I would keep hearing, if Cam Ward was in the draft class last season, right, he would be like maybe quarterback number 4, maybe number 5. So one of, let's see, including how they used to experience scouting Josh Allen during their time with Buffalo as a benchmark for what they were looking for in their next signal caller and why they think they found it. They think they found it, and actually finding it can be two different things. So, but I hope they found it. One of Dart's biggest X factors, traits that drew the Giants' brass interest was how the young signal caller conducted himself in and out of the huddle during games. And even that, like on the field and on the sideline too. What really stands out about how Jaxson is his passion for the game, leadership amongst his teammates, and the ability to cross sides of the ball, Shane told Breer. Like he's not just sitting over with the offense the entire time. I'm not making fun of nobody, nothing. But it's just one of the things that just jumps out at me, right? This is just something that popped into my head. So not many things pop into my head, but a lot of times, like I just remember, like Cam Newton, right? He'd come off on the sideline, right, and he'd get the towel, put the towel over his head, tuck it in his jersey, the towel over his head. He'd come on the sideline and he'd just sit down there. He might be watching, looking at the computer or something, whatever like that. But he always has the towel sitting down, right? A lot of quarterbacks just sit down here, sitting down with the coach, just sitting down by themselves. Maybe they get up, and they talk to the offense, maybe give them a pep talk or something, and they go back, sit down or whatever. What are they doing on the sideline while the game's going on, right? So one of the things that did stand out was how Jaxson, presented himself on the sideline. And it wasn't just with the offense either, right? Like he's not just sitting over there with the offense the entire time. You see him interacting with the defense as well. Now he's going to have some cojones. Some cojones, if you know what I mean. If he's interacting with Sexy Dexy and Brian Burns and Kayvon or Karake and those guys, the grizzled veterans, shall we say, right, of the Giant, so. He's got to do some proving first before he can dibble and dabble on that side of it. So, but that's a big part of the live exposure. What's he doing on the sideline, right? You have a bad throw or you have a 3 and out and you come over to the sideline. Who are you interacting with? Which coaches? Are you talking to your receivers? Are you talking to the offensive line? Are you by yourself? Are you not? Right? You're just sitting by yourself, You get back up, you go to the sideline, watch the defense out there, right? Right? The defense, the other team has the ball. Your defense is on the field. What are you doing? You're sitting there. You're still an interception. Or you're getting up there, you're watching the defense. That's like a lost art. I mean, not too long. I mean, unless you're like maybe in a Super Bowl, it's like the final minute of the game or something like that. I mean, how often do you see a quarterback in the NFL come on the sideline, right, talk whatever, and get up and start yelling for his defense? I mean, they're on the sideline. I mean, you don't usually see that, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're usually on the sideline, like, looking at the, right, looking at the plays, talking to the coach, looking there, just sitting down there, right there. Yeah, got a little Gatorade, putting that down. Yeah, looking around there, man, right, looking around. Hey, what's up, man? I mean, once again, I'm an old fart, blah, 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 but I mean, kind of, 800 years ago, when they used to, guys were on the sideline, they're on the sideline. You see a lot of guys standing on the sideline, or they're kneeling down. They got their helmet, they're kneeling down with whatever they're calling out, to the defense or something. It's just not like, I'm going to go sit on the bench until the defense is done. Yeah. So, I mean, let's see. In addition to Shane being impressed with how Dart conducted himself on the field, offensive coordinator Mike Kafka was also impressed. Kafka got to observe Dart up close during the Senior Bowl. So this is one of those things too, because you'll notice a lot of times the Giants wind up sending a lot of their coaches, which is cool. One of the real beneficial things about sucking, okay, is when the Senior Bowl and the Shrine Bowl and all is going on. The good teams, right, or in the playoff push. Well, the Giants ain't no pushing no playoffs, right, except for 2022, right? But, for the most part, when you suck, you're at home, right? Well, I mean, the Giants got a lot of coaches to the Shrine Bowl and the Senior, all that stuff. So that is freaking huge. You get to talk to, I can remember Kafka, right? He was the head coach of one of the teams this past season. Right. I mean, he's talking to these guys. He's up close and personal with these guys. Right. So that's huge. And Kafka is still with the Giants for this season. You don't know. One of these years, he might get a head coaching job, which would be great for him. But he is the Giants. So, I mean, that's huge. Huge. Dart up close so Kafka got to observe Dart up close during the Senior Bowl in an environment that, while structured like any other week of football, was also informal enough for him to observe how Dart conducted himself when he thought no one was looking, which was Dart's ability to connect with his peers. Leadership aside, Dart was also impressed by his job interview with Daboll. He came in prepared when Daboll presented an installation that Dart had to learn overnight during his top 30 visit with the team. That was something that Sanders did not do. I've heard a couple different things, but one thing was with Sanders was that they had an install, but apparently there was some errors or something in there, and I think Sanders didn't point them out, or he just basically really was not prepared. And he's supposed to be prepared. Last time I checked, right? He go in there, he's supposed to, and apparently he wasn't prepared. Daboll, called him out on it. Shador was a little ticked off by that. Right? And of course, Daboll was ticked off that Shador was didn't go too well. But I did hear also that possibly Shador was sandbagging some of his interviews for teams maybe he didn't want to go to. And that maybe the Giants was one of them. That's possible. I mean, I can't blame the guy. I mean, if you're supposed to be a quarterback, drafted in the, all that stuff, you're supposed to put your best foot forward no matter what, regardless. You don't want to burn no bridges. Because don't you think Daboll, somewhere along the line, is going to remember this, right? But, I mean, the Giants have been pretty much a dumpster fire since, I don't know, Jesus Christ walked the earth. So maybe this is one of the interviews he was trying to sandbag. I don't know. So, but one of the things you'll never know. But So, but there was then there was the workout itself, which Dart, according to Breer, also threw the ball well in comparison to his peers. Dart had his private workout before his pro day, where he impressed. With all the boxes having been checked, Dart still didn't land among the top 3 players on the team's board. So the plan was to go with whomever Abdul Carter, Travis Hunter weren't selected by the Browns, who obviously picked the Browns picked one spot ahead of the Giants. Now, I guess, obviously, if Cam Ward was there, I'm sure he probably would have been taken. But obviously, you kind of felt pretty 99% sure that the Titans were taking Cam Ward. I don't blame him either. You think that you do to the future, you take them, right? So, and then it was basically up. Who are the Browns taking? Well, it didn't take anybody. They traded back, right? I can't blame him for that either. Although, Travis Hunter's a pretty special guy. So, so Jacksonville jumped up. Who is Jacksonville going to take? They took Hunter. Can't say we got stuck with Carter, but we got Carter. Cool. Can't have too many edge rushers. Right. So, Texans general manager Nick Caserio, I believe it is, who ultimately held the key for the Giants, recently said a few teams were looking to trade into the Texans' number 25 spot. The Giants, of course, were one of them, and the Falcons and the Eagles were reportedly among the others. Ooh, I wonder who the Eagles were trying to trade up for. That would have been interesting. Fortunately for the Giants, the Texans didn't insist on the 65th pick, the higher of the 2 third-round picks held by the Giants, but they did get 2 third-round picks, though. So, had that been a non-negotiable condition, the deal for the Giants might never have gone through. So, that's now I'm wondering though if the Giants traded away, obviously, pick number 34, right? So if they had to give up pick 65 and not 99, I'm sure they wouldn't have to given up a 3rd-round pick next season. Maybe they would have to give up, I don't know, a 5th or a 6th round, but that would have been interesting to see. I wonder if that would have been a deal breaker. Interesting. Very, very interesting. One of those things you probably never know. In the end, the Giants being so high up in the 2nd round, they were a 2nd pick in the 3rd round, right? They were 3rd on the clock that day, helped Big Blue land, whom they hope will turn out to be their very own version of Josh Allen one day. So, ain't nobody going to be Josh Allen. He is not as one thing I do got to give Dart is, let's hope he changes his ways. But the dude takes the contact. Once again, let's hope he changes his ways in the NFL. All right? Because there's no Chuck E. Cheese State University Tech School of the Blind in the NFL. Everybody's Alabama. And you start running into guys or whatever, you're going to get your head knocked off. So let's hope he starts sliding, getting out of bounds or whatever. But let's hope he's not taking that kind of contact. But he's not Josh. Josh Allen can take on some contact. Josh Allen's a little bit bigger than he is. So there was, of course, another article. There's a bunch of articles here I like, but the Jaxson Dart leadership moment that impressed the Giants. Beyond their football skills and athleticism, there are certain intangibles NFL teams look from a quarterback. And there's one particular moment from Jaxson Dart's senior year at Ole Miss that led the Giants to believe he could be a leader in addition to an NFL passer. While GM Joe Schoen watched Dart, whom the Giants took at number 25 overall after trading back into the 1st round, on the sideline during an Ole Miss rivalry game against Mississippi State. That's a huge game, right? Right. The day after Thanksgiving, as he recalled to Sports Illustrated, he saw Dart interacting with the defense, which he found telling. What really stands out about Jaxson is his passion for the game, leadership amongst the teammates, and how he can cross sides of the ball, Shane's told SI. Like he's not just sitting over there with the offense the entire time. You see him interacting with the defense as well. That's a big part of the live exposure. You have a bad throw, and I did talk about you have a 3 and out. You come over the sideline. You just sitting by yourself, or you just talking to the quarterback. Who are you talking to, right? You get back up, you go to the sideline, you watch the defense out there. Those are all things that we're watching and evaluating, which is huge. 2 years earlier, according to SI, Dart received advice from former Patriots offensive coordinator Charlie Weiss, who told him how Tom Brady built relationships with players across the roster and not just on the offense. That's huge. Absolutely huge. Dart, who turns 22 next Tuesday, will have the time to develop as the Giants declared Russell Wilson as their starting quarterback. So he's only 22. So, I mean, if I'm just saying, if we have for 10 years, right, he'll still only be 32 years old. So he got a lot of football ahead of him, right? But I mean, it's not easy, you know what I mean? I mean, you know, to go over there and cross lines and stuff like, you know, I mean, you know, it's not easy. And obviously, you know, very rarely I don't see it. I mean, you know, of course, you don't always get the spotlight on the quarterback, what's he doing every second of the game and all that. But a lot of times you just see the guy on the sideline just either sitting with the quarterback coach or the quarterbacks, or he's talking to his receivers or the offensive line. Something he's not over there talking to the defense or something like that. So, but that means a lot, you know. Right now, as I said, Dart's being a rookie coming, especially if he's not playing. He's gonna have a hard time going over there talking to Dexter or something. You know, come on guys, let's go. You know what I mean? So he's got to ease into that, right? Especially since Dexter will just pick him up and eat him, right? So there's a lot of good things about Dart. It's gonna be very, very exciting, right? The nice thing about this, right, is that with Dart, okay, is that, you know, it gives you hope, and that, you know, and that's all you ask for. You know, obviously, do you want a Super Bowl? Yeah. Do you want playoffs? Yeah. Do you want to win a division? Yeah. But at least we have some hope. You know, we're not in the Daniel Jones, you know, Twilight Zone era. You know, is he the quarterback or is he not? He did good last week, but then he sucked this week, and then but he was hurt, but he's okay now. Is he going to be there? Are we signing him? Not signing him? We keeping him? We letting him? What's going on? We've only had him for 6 years, you know what I mean? So, oh my God. So at least we have some hope going forward, right? So, and it'll be very exciting when he does get in there, right? Very, very exciting, because the one nice thing is that if you do get your quarterback, right, you know, it's like, whew, you know, you got hopefully 10 years, 15, whatever, right? We got ourselves a quarterback, right? So now, of course, this is one of those ones you say, right? Should the Giants go after wide receiver Keenan Allen? Now, there's another guy I'm going to be talking about too. Should the Giants go after? I don't want to spoil it, but I've seen this quite a bit, right? Now, I mean, Keenan's been around for a long time. You know, personally, I don't see the Giants going after Keenan. I mean, he's been around, was it 2013, I think it is? Let me say. I mean, he's been, what, 5 or what do we got here? How many Pro Bowls? 1, 2, 3, 4. He's been to 6 Pro Bowls. He went to 5 straight Pro Bowls, 2017 to 2021. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 seasons where he had over 100 receptions. Now, of course, a lot of that was with Phillip Rivers, right? With the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers, right? Past season he was with Chicago. He caught 70 passes, right? You know, it's nothing. I mean, he's been, 12 seasons. He has 66 catches. So he catches what is that, like 5.5 touchdowns a season. He averages 11.6 yards in his career, 11.6 yards of reception. So, you know, but I mean, he can catch the ball, right? It's just, the thing is that he's not going to be obviously free. Newsflash. But I mean, the Giants, we brought back Darius Slade. Now, could we use another weapon or something? Absolutely. The thing is, I don't know if is he 30, 33? He just turned 33. Okay, so, you know, I don't know if the Giants, I mean, what are we going to do? Bring him in for a year? I mean, if the Giants were like a player like him away from possibly maybe, going to the playoffs and making a good Super Bowl run or something like that, maybe, I don't know. I really don't see the Giants picking him up. The Giants would have to clear some. We're going to talk about the salary cap. Giants would have to do some finagling around with the money, maybe re-sign some contract, let some guys go just to bring Keenan Allen in here for a season or maybe two. Once again, I don't. I really don't see the Giants doing that. Oh, where are we at here? So, Giants predicted now to sign the $133 million Pro Bowl receiver. Could the Giants sign Keenan Allen? Of course they could, but are they going to? Nope, I doubt it. Giants are trying to look ahead after a treacherous 3-14 season, which featured one of the worst NFL's worst offenses. Giants ranked 30th in pass yards per game. I'm sorry, in yards per game, 294.8. I mean, they couldn't even average 300 yards a game. Whew. And they averaged 31st in points per game, averaging just 16.1 points per game. Giants have made strides to address the offense this offseason, signing Russell Wilson, Jaxson Dart, and obviously, don't forget Jameis Winston. Giants' offensive additions may not be done, as Alex Kay of Bleacher Report penned the Giants as the ideal landing spot for free agent wideout Keenan Allen. Now, Keenan Allen fits the bill as a proven receiver with long-term history of production throughout his decorated NFL career. Whether he ends up establishing a potent veteran battery with Wilson or serves as a safety net for the developing Dart, Allen should be able to carve out a meaningful role working as the Giants' number 2 option. Now, Allen is a 6-time Pro Bowler, fresh off celebrating his 33rd birthday. Allen is coming off a bit of a down year in the sole season with the Bears, but holding in 70 catches, 744 yards, and still managing to find the end zone 7 times now. The year prior, Allen had 108 catches, 1,243 yards, and 7 touchdowns. But then again, with the Chargers, he also had a really good quarterback. Allen has crossed the 1,000-yard mark in 6 of his 12 seasons and has tallied 66 touchdowns in his career. Allen has been paid handsomely for his production, making over $133 million in his career earnings. The Giants wouldn't have to pay too hefty a price tag for Allen, as Spot Track places his market value at just $11 million. But so, as we're going to say, the Giants don't have $11 million. And for Shane to rework some contracts, to kick some money down the road, kick the can down the road just to bring Keenan Allen in there for a season, maybe 2, I don't see that happening. Absolutely not. We brought in, not now, I'm not saying any of these guys that we brought in are going to be any good or whatever. But we brought in a whole lot of undrafted free agent wide receivers. So, I mean, there's wide receivers that be undrafted free agents out. They're still out there. There are free agents still out there. I really don't see Shane. He'd have to do some stuff with some money, push the money down the road just to bring Allen in for a year or 2. And we're not going to the Super Bowl, newsflash. I mean, I doubt it. I really, really doubt it. Allen would be an immediate upgrade for the wide receiver 2 spot, as the second leading receiver for the Giants was Wan'Dale Robinson. Let's not forget, we also brought back Darius Slayton, too, right? So what's Slayton going to do? We brought Slayton back. Right, we got Malik Neighbors, we got Wan'Dale in the slot. I mean, we penned in, we signed, Darius, brought him back. So we're bringing Keenan Allen in, and we're going to put Darius on the sideline. Don't see that happening. All right, and should the Giants clear cap space to sign a proven free agent wide receiver? That's where the Giants find themselves right now when it comes to wide receiver position. The draft came and went without another big wide receiver addition, which is understandable. Now, eyes naturally shift to the free agent market, but the numbers on the books don't make it that easy. Nope. At the moment, the Giants have roughly $1 million in cap space and still need to sign their draft class. That means they're about $9 million over the cap. That alone forces some tough conversations before entertaining the idea of bringing in veteran pass catcher. Well, it says here restructures are the only path to flexibility. Well, I mean, the Giants, there's guys the Giants could let go and save some money. Giants do have financial levers they can pull to create cap space ahead of training camp and preseason cuts. Restructuring Andrew Thomas and Dexter Lawrence could clear about $22 million. But that comes with long-term risk. Given Thomas's injury history, the front office might be hesitant to convert money and push it down the line. A more likely candidate for restructuring is Brian Burns, whose deal could free up $16 million without too much strain. That would be enough to sign the rookie class and possibly stash a little for the depth moves or late camp signings. Still, any receiver addition would need to be modest, both in terms of years and salary cap impact for the 2025 season. Alex Kay of Bleacher Report floated the idea of adding Keenan Allen, who remains unsigned after his stint in Chicago. On paper, Allen brings savvy route running, versatility, and proven production, all the things the Giants could use. But the reality is different. Allen is 33, and while he still managed 744 yards and 7 touchdowns last season, his cost remains too high. Absolutely. He took over half his snaps in the slot, an area where the Giants already have Wando Robinson and neighbors. Plus, the team extended Darius Slayton this offseason. Still hopes for a second-year leap from Jalen. From a second-year leap? What are we talking about? Offseason hopes for how about a third-year leap from Jalen Hyatt? So, the thing is that, this is certainly one of the things the Giants are going to need next season, without question. Now, what we're going to be talking about, I don't want to do spoiler alert, but there's another position group or whatever on the offense the Giants are going to need to look at after this season's over with. But we'll hold off on that. However, next season, right, in the draft or free agency, the one nice thing, okay, is that, you got Dart. You jump back into the first round for him. If he winds up being the quarterback of the future, you got him 5 years on the cheap before he's going to want $352 trillion a year. You got him cheap, right? Help build the team around him, okay? Russell Wilson will be gone, okay? But one of the things the Giants certainly could use next year, right, is another really good weapon, right? Really good weapon. Unfortunately, we had that with Saquon, and we kind of let him go. That's another story for another day. But we could really use whether it's a really good bona fide receiving tight end or another really good threat of a wide receiver. Now, of course, wide receivers, you don't have to get a wide receiver in the top 10 to get a real, a bona fide, we don't need a dog. We could use a real good threat, a good receiving threat, right? So you can get one in the second round or so, right? Without question. But that's something the Giants are certainly going to need next year. But bringing in Keenan Allen, 33 years old, for a year. You probably sign it for maybe a year. You're gonna have to free up some money, kick some money down the road just to bring the guy in, and we're gonna not make the playoffs, possibly not make the playoffs. I don't see that happening. Not at all. The Giants are trying to, get young, stay young, and all that. And so, if we had, we have the capability of pushing some money down the road. Absolutely. If we were just like one wide receiver like him away from, having a real good chance of maybe thinking about going to the Super Bowl, yeah, sure. But I don't think we're there. Mr. Carter here. Mr. Carter. ESPN predicts success for the Giants rookie. Now, they got this. I mean, it's amazing the stuff they have nowadays. The way they predict what the guys are supposed to do and how many sacks they're supposed to get and all that stuff. It's simply crazy, the stuff that they have nowadays. But they do predict some success for them. So that's a plus. That's a plus. So ESPN model predicts success for the Giants rookie. New York Giants drafted the best edge rusher in the class in Abdul Carter. ESPN sack projection model agrees. That's cool. Because a lot of times the Giants don't get much love. When the Giants picked Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter with the number 3 pick, they didn't just land the best player available. They took one of the class 2 blue chip prospects. And they couldn't take the other one because he was gone, right? A safe bet at stardom at a high value position. Absolutely. Carter has the potential to be a true building block. Alongside defensive tackle Sexy Dexy, the long-term pillars of the Giants defense have arrived, and the expectations have followed. To some, Carter not winning Defensive Rookie of the Year would be a disappointment. As an edge rusher, he has a leg up on the competition, yet he's headlining a strong crop of edge rushers entering the league. Now, this was a very good class, absolutely, for edge rushers. Oh, yeah. I mean, like if somehow, the Giants somehow didn't wind up with Carter or the Giants traded back, somebody jumped up, traded with the Giants moved back a little bit, whoever traded up got Carter. I mean, there was a lot of edge rushers. Good. I mean, not as good as Carter, but there was a good, this is a good, I think, defensive tackle, offensive tackle, edge rusher class, so some of them was not a good class for some it was a very good class for other positions. So let's see. Fans and draft analysts aren't alone in their excitement for the New York's budding star. ESPN sack model predicts success for the Giants rookie. Seth Walder's model predicts sack totals over the course of a player's first 3 seasons. I don't know how you figure that out. And Carter tops the leaderboard just ahead of Baltimore Ravens edge rusher Mike Green. So Seth Walder says, let's try this again. Sack forecast for this year's draft prospects. This model projects each player's total sacks over years 1 through 3 in their NFL careers. It's intended as a pre-draft model, but I had a bug I didn't manage to squash until today. So, all right. So now, according here, okay, first 3 seasons, according to this ESPN, Abdul Carter is supposed to have 15 and a half sacks in his first 3 seasons. So basically, he's supposed to get 5 sacks a season. It's going to be interesting. I mean, it's just, the one thing is that, he's around other good players that are going to command, attention. So I don't know. But he's only supposed to get, according to this ESPN model, 5 sacks a season for his first 3 seasons. But Mike Green is supposed to get 13.4 sacks. Then there's a couple guys here who are supposed to get 10.9 sacks over their first 3 seasons. Jalen Walker is supposed to get 10.4 sacks. Derek Harmon's supposed to get 10 sacks. Shermer Stewart's supposed to get 9.2. Mikel Williams is supposed to get 8.4 sacks. So there's not a lot, according to this ESPN model, right? There's, nobody's supposed to be skyrocketing with sacks over the first 3 seasons. He's got Abdul Carter getting 15 and a half sacks in 3 seasons. So to me, that would be a disappointment. Real disappointment. Let's see here. Carter is projected for 15 and a half sacks over his first 3 years, with Green at 13.4. Dallas Cowboys edge rusher Donovan Rauco And Atlanta Falcons first-round pick James Pierce Jr. are next at 10.9 sacks, with the Falcons linebacker Jalen Walker and Steelers defensive tackle Derek Harmon rounding out the group, projected for 10-plus sacks. The model sees Abdul Carter as the clear-cut number one pass rusher in this class, which is no surprise, but it actually likes Carter quite a bit less than it liked Dallas Turner a year ago. A lofty projection for Carter isn't a shock, but both due to his reputation and the model's inputs, taking into account college sack production, pressure rates, age, measurables, and other factors, Carter checks plenty of boxes. He's an elite athlete with encouraging production. In his only season as a full-time edge rusher, Carter posted 12 sacks. As a linebacker in the two prior seasons, he combined for 11 sacks. It's also important to note that 15.5 sacks isn't an incredibly high number. No, it's not. And that's by design. Projections are supposed to bend toward the mean, and the NFL draft remains uncertain despite years of study. Top prospects still fail. Injuries can knock players off brighter paths, absolutely, and an infinite number of factors can shape Carter's career. With Lawrence, Burns, and Kayvon adding to New York's defensive line, Carter will at least be positioned for success. Oh, absolutely. Giants rookie defensive tackle Darius Alexander is projected for 5 sacks in his first 3 seasons. So, once again, I don't know where they all wind up coming at. The guy is his model that he has and everything like that. But so he got Darius Alexander supposed to get 5 sacks in 3 seasons. So he's supposed to get 2 sacks a season. I don't know about that, but we'll see. But according to ESPN, they have Carter as the number one edge rusher coming out in his class, but he's only supposed to get 5 sacks a season. Now, the thing is, it's like, I see they can line him. He's just not going to be on the outside there. They can put him off ball in the center, right? And he can blitz. So they can put him all over the place. I think if he only gets 5 sacks this season, I think I'd be a little bit disappointed. Or if he gets 5 sacks, but if he doesn't, continue to get better, I'd be a little disappointed. To me, if Carter only winds up with 15 sacks in 3 seasons, I'd be a little disappointed. He's the number 3 pick, so we'll have to wait and see. But once again, he's another one of the guys that you're very excited about. Very, very excited about, right? If it doesn't maybe give you a lot of hope for this season, it gives you hope maybe going forward, right? Now, of course, this is another one of the other guys that I saw out there. Brandon Scherff. The Giants predicted, once again, you get this and you get a moron like me, of course, going to read the article. Giants predicted to sign 5-time Pro Bowler. Once again, I don't see that happening. A lot of it is just like, it's just people putting articles out there just for like an idiot like me to read. Oh my God, really? Yeah, we projected. Yeah, I mean, all it takes is like one person. Oh yeah, I think the Giants are going to sign so and so. Then they make an article out of it, and it's all over the newspaper. But once again, I don't. This is no, absolutely not. I really. Is this it? There we go. All right. Could the Giants sign Brandon Scherff to compete at right guard? No. To the surprise of many, 5-time Pro Bowl guard Brandon Scherff is still a free agent. The 33-year-old, once again, bringing in a 33-year-old for a 1 season or what? No. Nope. We're going to put him in a guard. We just brought GVR back, who did decently for the Giants last season at guard on the cheap. We have Evan Neal, who's going to try to guard. Okay, we have other guys at guard. Right, so the Giants are trying to see if they have the guards of the future. Now, where are we at here? Let me just right here. I mean, this is like the Giants have And then, I mean, you're not sure where they're going to put. I think Marcus and Bo, I think he's going to try and maybe start off at tackle. But the Giants got GVR. They got Evan Neal, John Runyon Jr., obviously at left guard, Aaron Stinney, and Jake Kubas. So, I mean, we got guards. I mean, maybe not the greatest guards in the world, but we have guards. Sheriff hasn't missed a game in 3 years and has made all 17 starts in each of the last 3 seasons, which he played with Jacksonville Jaguars. Prior to that, Sheriff spent 7 seasons with the Commanders as one of the best guards in football, earning 5 Pro Bowls and 1 first-team All-Pro selection. Last season, Sheriff was still solid, earning a respectable 64.7 overall Pro Football Focus grade. That's okay. All right, okay. His play was particularly strong in pass protection, where he scored a 74.5 pass blocking grade, ranking 19th among all guards across 1,013 snaps at right guard in 2024. Sheriff did not surrender a single sack and surrendered just 17 pressures. So basically 1 pressure a game he surrendered. Pretty impressive. He was penalized only twice, once again. Very impressive. A rather impressive season for a 33-year-old who seemingly can't find a new home. If the Giants were to sign him, he would immediately be the most experienced right guard on their roster, possessing by far the most pedigree. He could be an upgrade for an offensive line that has struggled mightily in pass protection for several seasons. Well, see, the Giants are trying. They're going to try to switch Evan Neal, right? They got to know. They need to know, can Evan, I mean, if the Giants let Evan Neal go, some team's going to pick him up, and Evan Neal's going to be a Hall of Famer for that team. I can guarantee. My God, this guy's one of the greatest guards of all time. The Giants let him go? Wow, man, how stupid are they? Guaranteed. Okay. But the Giants need to know, can Evan Neal play for the Giants? That's what they need to know, right? They're going to move him into guard. I mean, why not? If he moves into guard, why wouldn't you want Evan Neal, playing a guard to see if he can play, than Brandon Sheriff? I mean, who's 33 years old. I mean, Evan Neal's like, 24? He's like 8, 9 years younger. I mean, and also Jake Kubas, too. Right? And we got GVR for this season. How many guys you need to try out at right guard? Right? Ultimately, the Giants will likely pass on Sheriff or any other veteran option on the free agency market. Instead, they will play it out in training camp and the preseason, giving their rostered guards a fair shot at winning the starting job. Evan Neal will transition from right tackle to guard and be amongst their competing for their starting gig. Also in the mix will be GVR, who started all 17 games for the Giants last season at right guard and center. 5th round rookie Marcus and Bo could also compete for the job if they don't have him out there maybe competing at tackle. But it's a crowded right guard room. And as I said, don't forget about Jake Kubas, Aaron Stinney, right? So the Giants will likely pass on Sheriff. So another one. The Giants predicted to sign a Russell Wilson protector and a 5-time Pro Bowler, Brandon Sheriff. No. Giants obviously gave themselves a boost in the trenches as they concluded the NFL draft, having made 7 selections, most notably Abdul Carter. One of the Giants' best value grabs was Purdue guard Marcus and Bo, who the Giants got in the 5th round after seriously considering him in the 4th. That is so weird because at pick 105, Shane's like, man, do we take Cam Scottaboo or we take Marcus and Bo? We got to take one of them because when we pick again at 154, they're not going to be there. Who are we going to take? All right, we'll take Cam Scottaboo. And we'll have to wave bye-bye to Marcus and Bo. Oh, man. No, that wasn't the case. 50 picks later, Marcus and Bo was still there. Cool. Still, there are some question marks surrounding the guard position for the Giants, and some are pegging the Giants to make a move to beef up the line. No, they're not. Sterling Zai or Z, whatever, Pro Football Network compiled a list of one remaining free agent each NFL team should target, and the Giants selection was former Pro Bowl guard Brandon Sheriff. Giants entered the draft with one of the NFL's weakest offensive lines. Yep. Giants ranked 27th in PFSN's O-line plus metric last year and didn't make major free agent additions beyond swing tackles James Hudson and Stone Forsythe. You got that right. Of course, late free agency doesn't bring many quality starting options. Brandon Sheriff might be an exception to that rule, though he's 33 and last made the Pro Bowl in 2021. Still, he didn't allow a single sack, right, last season. Among guards, only Trey Smith of the Chiefs had more pass blocking snaps without allowing a sack. But, of course, we were hoping that Smith would hit the free agent market, but that didn't wind up happening. That would have been a good signing for the Giants. Sheriff would be a standout addition for the Giants team that has a very strong offseason and is seemingly making great strides toward being competitive again. Now, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. But I really think, that for the Giants, I really think for the Giants, they're going to wind up let this season play out. Okay. And see who winds up being, after the season's over with, smoke clears, dust settles, they sit back and it's like, who played right guard for us, right? If it winds up being GVR, the Giants are going to have to go in a different direction because they can't keep bringing GVR back till he's 712 years old on 1-year contract. Can't do it. They're going to have to go in a separate, right? I mean, if Evan Neal doesn't win the job, or Jake Kubas or Aaron Stinney, one of them doesn't win and do a very, very good job, the Giants are going to have to look elsewhere. Having GVR here for another season is fantastic, right? But they want one of their younger guys to win the job. If one of those guys don't do it, right, after the season's over and free agency rolls around next season or in the draft, the Giants will definitely have to look at guard. Or maybe they bring Bo and put him in a guard. We'll have to wait and see. So the Giants have a lot of options for a right guard. A lot of options. A lot of young options, okay, except for GVR, okay? But the Giants have a lot of young options for guard. All right, so they want to see, bringing in another guy ain't going to do them any good. Especially, Sheriff's not going to cost them a ton of money, but the Giants don't have any money right now. They still have to sign their draft class, right? So, bringing in another guy, another old guy for what? For one season ain't going to do them any good. So, the Giants signing Brandon Sheriff, no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. But more good news on the draft front. The Giants draft picks, there are 2 Giants that were named perfect fits for the Giants organization. Now, there was a list that I saw of 10 players, and the Giants had 2 of them. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. All right, where are we at here? So, there are 10 perfect player team fits. Former NFL player and scout Bucky Brooks knows the ins and outs of this league, providing keen insight in his notebook. In today's installment, he identifies prospects who landed in perfect spots in the 2025 NFL Draft. Finding prospects who fit the team's culture and scheme is a scout's top priority throughout the pre-draft process. Team builders instruct their personnel to conduct extensive film studies and interviews with intriguing talents to ensure the players selected over draft weekend mesh well with the system and environment. While most general managers and head coaches will praise every prospect added to the squad, a handful of players flourish as pros due to the perfect marriage of talent and scheme. These ideal fits can be acquired in any round, with the system accentuating a player's skill and enhancing his performance and production. after taking some time to review each of the 257 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft. Here, I guess is from Bucky Brooks. Here are my 10 perfect player team fits. Armand Membao. Right? A lot of people had the Giants in their mock drafts taking him. So he's the tackle. He went to the Jets at number 7 overall. Colston Loveland. I was shocked when he got taken. He was the first tight end taken, but he's the tight end going to the Bears. We got, who else we got here? We got Will Johnson, the cornerback, going to Arizona. Mike Green, the outside linebacker, going to the Ravens. Trey Amos, cornerback, going to the Commanders. Caleb Johnson, the running back, going to the Steelers. Xavier Watts, the safety, going to the Falcons. And Jordan James, running back, going to the 49ers. So those are the other 8. But according to Mr. Brooks here, right, we got Jaxson Dart, quarterback, New York Giants. Considering Brian Daboll's past work with Josh Allen in Buffalo, it is easy to see why the coach handpicked the Ole Miss standout as his future franchise quarterback in New York, trading back into the first round to make Dart the second signal caller off the board. Though the 6'2", 223-pound passer obviously isn't a carbon copy of the league's reigning most valuable player. No, he's not. He possesses the dual threat skills to make Big Blue's offense pop with RPOs, designed quarterback runs, and deep shots featured prominently on the call sheet. The Giants patiently allow for the rookie to acclimate to the pro game, with Dart in position to sit and learn behind veterans Russell Wilson and Jameson Winston. The first rounder could lead the franchise out of the doldrums as a potent playmaker with a rugged game. Ooh, okay. And then we have the other one, Darius Alexander, drafted in the 3rd round, pick number 65 overall. Credit General Manager Joe Schoen and head coach Brian Daboll for finding the perfect playmaker for Dexter Lawrence at the point of attack. Alexander's size, strength, and athleticism should lead to a host of splash plays for the Giants as opponents devote double teams to the monstrous Pro Bowler beside him. Though the 6'4", 305-pounder's collegiate sack production left something to be desired, his tools, arm length, and agility could help him emerge as a disruptive force on the front that features 4 pass rushing demons. So, and we got another one here, right? 2 New York Giants draft picks named as perfect fits. This is from Ed Valentine. It's the same thing. Same thing here. The Giants draft class has received nearly universal praise. Bucky Brooks of NFL.com has now added to that, listing 2 of General Manager Joe Schoen's selections among his top 10 perfect player team fits. 2 of the 10. That's very, very impressive, right? Brooks listed quarterbacks, obviously Jaxson Dart and Darius Alexander. The Giants traded up to get Dart. Considering Brian Daboll's past work with Josh Allen, it's easy to see why the coach handpicked Ole Miss standout as his future franchise quarterback. Schoen sent pick number 99 and a 2026 third-round pick to the Texans. He indicated it was important for him to be able to keep the 65th pick overall. So that might be why he got away with sending away a third-round pick. Because, there's a good chance that third-round pick next season is going to be in the top half, right, of the third round anyway. So, let's see. Credit General Manager, obviously, Joe Schoen and head coach Daboll finding the perfect playmaker for Sexy Dexy with Darius Alexander. So, really, really lucked out there with the obviously with the Giants being able to keep pick number 65. Yeah, that was huge because to get Darius, we really, really needed somebody to go next to Sexy. That was huge. So for him to be able to keep the number 65, is really fantastic. As I said, that's what probably helped do it for the Giants and for the Texans, shall we say, because the Texans, the Texans were not going to move from 25 to 34 for pick number 9, just for pick 34 and 99. That wasn't going to happen. They needed something else. I don't blame them, right? So we had to give them 2 third-round picks, but the other one's next season. So now, the Giants are a little strapped for cash. Now, well, a few of the things here, right? Is going forward. The Giants should have some money next season. Okay. Now, one of the reasons, a couple of the reasons, we should have some money going next season, right, is that we have a lot of dead money this season, right, for Daniel, like $22 million for Daniel Jones. Between Daniel Jones and Darren Waller, still owe him money, right? It's about $27 million, baby, in dead money to those 2 guys. They're not even on the team anymore, right? So you figure between next season, if Russell Wilson's not going to be here, right? We're going to have a very cheap quarterback room, right? Daniel Jones's dead cap money will be off the board. Darren Waller's dead cap money, that'll be off the board. So we're going to have some money next season, but as of right now, we're not doing so well. Where the heck are we here? This one? No, okay, here we go. Nope. All right, so next season, the Giants, let's see here, 2026. All right, what are we supposed to have here? We have about $41 million in cap space next season. Okay. But I mean, if there's all kinds of ways the Giants can free up money. But next season, right now, we had no dead cap money right now, none, which is huge. We got $41 million. Now, of course, there's all kinds of ways to free up extra money and all that and everything, right? But next season we certainly can bring in at least one good juicy guy, if not 2 real juicy guys to the roster, right? But I mean, as of right now, we got to do some configuring to do to be able to sign our draft class now. But there are guys the Giants can let go. Really, there are guys the Giants can let go to free up some money. So the Giants have some work to do on their salary cap after a very costly offseason. Giants spared no expenses offseason in their attempt to improve a roster that not only vastly underperformed last season, but also saw some of the Giants' roster depth holes, such as the offensive line, exposed. But after beginning free agency with just over $43 million, the Giants' current cap space has dwindled to $1.1 million and minus $9.3 million in effective cap space, putting them dead last in the league. That's because they got to sign their draft class. New York spent over almost $238 million on 26 contracts this offseason, of which $145 million is guaranteed. This means that restructures are coming so that the Giants, who are listed as having 80 players under contract, the max in the offseason is 90, can fit in their draft picks and undrafted free agents. Outside linebacker Brian Burns, defensive tackle Dexter Lawrence, and left tackle Andrew Thomas are among the top 5 highest cap hits for the Giants, which are likely to be restructured. Now, also, they bring up one of the other early articles. I'm not so sure. Obviously anything can happen to anybody, but I don't know. Are they really going to want to start restructuring Andrew Thomas's contract and pushing a lot of money down the road for him? He keeps getting injured, right? So, possibly sexy, right? Could be restructured. Brian Burns could certainly be restructured, right? Linebacker Bobby Okereke and guard John Runyon Jr. round out the top 5, but it would be surprising if one or both of those 2 players were to have their contracts touched, since both are collecting the last bit of guaranteed money owed to them this year. Burns' 2025 cap hit is $29.75 million, which includes $22.25 million base salary. He's signed through 2028, and his $35 million signing bonus will run through that final year, though his guaranteed money will run out after 2026. Burns' full base salary is fully guaranteed, so any restructuring of his deal this year would mean he'd have to get that full amount. Burns has a $23.664 million cap hit for this year, and like Burns, his full base salary is fully guaranteed. Thomas' contract would seem to be the best one to restructure. He has a $21.087 million cap hit, of which is $16.4 million base salary is fully guaranteed. But Thomas's prorated signing bonus runs out after 2028, which means if the Giants wanted to lower his base salary and convert most of it to a signing bonus, they could push some of his prorated signing bonus into that final year in 2029, a move that wouldn't necessarily choke the Giants' salary cap down the road. Then there are veteran roster cuts that could be made. Interestingly, the Giants didn't make any salary cap related moves at the start of free agency, when it was thought that maybe defensive end Raheem Nunez-Roches, who was in the final year of his contract and has a $5 million cap hit, $3.6 million of which is base salary, could be among those salaries shed to increase the Giants' cap space. That said, the Giants will need to move much more than $3.6 million to sign the rookies and still have money left over to get through the upcoming season. So we'll have to see how General Manager Joe Schoen approaches things in the coming weeks. I mean, Graham Gano is another guy. I mean, unfortunately, I love him. He was Mr. Automatic. We were so lucky we had him in 2022. I mean, we would just send him out there for these 50-yard field goals. You could, the Giants said, Graham Gano, it's going to be a 54-yarder. You could just get up, go to the bathroom, take a tinkle, come on back, and the Giants had 3 points on the board. It's just automatic from 57. It's amazing how well he was. But he's, I don't want to say he's getting chinks in the arm, but he's getting injured. He's up there kind of, he's getting up there. He's not going to be kicking forever. Obviously undrafted free agents. There's 3 trillion kickers out there. We got, hey, Jude McAtamney, right? We have him who could maybe take Graham Gano's spot. So if we let Graham Gano go, we would save some money as well, too. But the Giants, where we at here? Is this it? Yeah. It's Abdul Carter is, let's see here. Right now, looks like his average salary is $11.3 million. So now, how the Giants wind up working that, he's got $45 million due, which is all guaranteed. Of course, the Giants will probably pick up his 5th-year option, right? But right now, he's about $45 million in 4 years guaranteed. Now, it said the Giants can sign him bonus, push some of that money down the road, take that $11 million cap hit, maybe bring it down a little bit, right? But still, we only got like a little over $1 million. We can't bring his cap hit all the way down, right? Plus, you don't want to push all that money down the road, right? But then also the same thing with Jaxson Dart, because we traded back up into the first round to get him, right? Let's see, his salary for 4 years is about just under $17 million. He is $4.238 million toward the cap. Right? Same thing there. Right? You maybe give him some type of signing bonus, whatever, bring some of the his salary down this season, but still, their average salary between the two of them is what is that, over $16 million. Right? So. And then that doesn't include, I don't know, what is Darius? Let's see, what does it have? Does it have the, oh, it does. Okay, cool. Darius here, what does he got? Oh, he's 1.7 million. Just about 1.7, all right? But even still, the Giants have a little bit over, according to Spot Track, right? Let's see, I mean, it's amazing. They're all different. But The Giants, let's see, according to Spot Track, the Giants have about 1.7 million, and according to Over the Cap, the Giants have 1.1 million. So it is what it is. But regardless, the Giants definitely going to need, money to sign their draft class, and not only money to sign the draft class, but then they're going to need money, to just to go through the season. Yeah, so the Giants have some decisions to do. Now, obviously, as I said, maybe letting a few of the more expensive guys go, like Nacho and maybe Graham Gano go, save some money there. But they're going to have to. Looks like they're definitely going to have to restructure some contracts for some of the guys. But the Giants, will have some money, certainly some money to spend next season, which is really, really good. But speaking of spending some money, right? Now, of course, this is out of obviously you start looking at chains like first draft class, right? And you kind of like, the more like time goes by, it's kind of like, it wasn't a real banner one, right? And we had like 11 picks. Yeah, a lot of picks, right? And, obviously the Evan Neal saga is still going on. We don't even know if he can even play for the Giants, right? But one of the bright spots was Mr. Neck, Mike. I got a neck, McFadden, right? So, would it might behoove the Giants to lock him up, extend him for a few years? He's not Harry Carson. I get, he has his faults, obviously, but he hasn't done too bad for the Giants. And might be somebody the Giants might want to keep around going forward. One of the things, you draft the guys, develop the guys, and then keep the guys, right? So, could the Giants extend one of their rising talents in the front seven? Absolutely. The more these guys you can keep, especially the one, it would be, to me, idiotic. Absolutely. Because it's not like, we got Micah McFadden. The guy's going to want probably about $25 million. Wow. Oh, I don't know. Do we keep the guy? Don't know. It's not going to be the case. The guy's produced. Once again, I said, is he Hall of Fame or all pro? No. But is he produced for you? Absolutely. And he's not going to break the bank for you either. You need guys like this on your roster. So the Giants defense looks to be one of the best in the NFL on paper. And I said this before. I tell you, once again, right? If the Giants, if the Giants defense doesn't wind up in the top half, and I would even say the top 10, right? Bowen's got to go. We got to get somebody else in there who can, right? This should be a nice defense. I'm not saying we should be the best defense, but we should be a good defense this year. If Bowen can't bring out the best of them, best in these guys, get somebody else in here who can. Plenty of other guys out there, I'm sure, can take this group of guys and turn them into something special. The Giants made monumental upgrades to the unit, adding a bevy of pass rushers, some experienced defensive backs, and crucial depth at all three levels of the defense. Giants front seven in particular is aiming to be the team's strength this season. Inside their front seven is one rising star who could be playing for an extension this season. Absolutely. Micah McFadden has gotten better every season. McFadden is entering the fourth season of his career after being selected by the Giants in the fifth round of the 2022 NFL Draft. McFadden quickly carved out a role for himself in the Giants defense, totaling 59 combined tackles and 7 tackles for loss across 17 games and 7 starts as a rookie. Not too shabby. McFadden has since improved in each of the subsequent 2 seasons of his career. He set a new career high with 101 combined tackles in 2023, then set another career high with 107 combined tackles in 2024. Through the first 3 seasons of his career, McFadden has slowly developed into one of the Giants' most crucial defenders. His progression year to year has been impressive. If McFadden continues to grow at this rate, he could become one of the team's most important defensive pieces. Should the Giants extend McFadden ASAP? At 25 years old, McFadden should be viewed as one of the Giants' core foundational pieces. Yep. He will be a free agent following the completion of his rookie contract in 2026. A contract year the Giants need to begin thinking about McFadden's future with the team. Linebackers at McFadden's age can make in excess of $6 to $8 million per season on their second contracts. Derek Barnes of the Lions is making $8 million. Kenneth Murray of the Cowboys making $7.75 million, and Ernest Jones of the Seahawks is making $9.5 million. Are similar examples. Giants currently have just $1.1 million in cap space per over the cap, the least amount of cap space in the NFL. Extending McFadden would save the Giants $1.84 million against the 2025 salary cap. Interesting, almost $2 million that would save them. Not only would such a deal lock one of the Giants' core young pieces for the long term, but it would also increase the health of their finances in the short term. Absolutely. He has some issues. Let's see. This past season, he graded out just PFF. It's all I'm going by, right? He graded out a 62.8, right? His run defense was a 66. His pass rush was a 79.6. His coverage was a 53.5. So nothing super duper spectacular. But he did, in 2023, his tackling was very, very bad. 2023, he missed 25, according to PFF, once again. That's all I'm going by. He missed 25 tackles, according to PFF. At a missed tackle rate of 20.7. Now, this past season, it went down to 13.7, which is still a bit high. I mean, you like to get that around at least 10% at the most, if not under 10%. So, I mean, this past season, he had a couple bad games, right? But he had also, once again, had a couple very, very good games. But I really think, if the Giants, could lock him up for at least a few more years. Now, once again, let's see here, and that's not right. He played in almost every game last season, right? Let's see, 2023. So he's been relatively healthy though, too. 2023, he played in, I think, every game. 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. He played in every game. And then his rookie season. Oh, he said he played in 17 games his rookie season. Yeah, he had 7 starts. Or he missed one game. But, so he's been very, very relatively healthy, right? I said, once again. Is he a Hall of Famer? No. Is he a pro? No. But, once again, is he a good quality player? Absolutely. What are you going to do? You're going to go out in the draft and try to replace him with somebody? It doesn't make any sense. To me, I really, really think it would be fantastic. The Giants, as I said, you draft them, you develop them, and you keep them. Keep the guys around, right? So I think it would be fantastic. They re-signed him going forward. And they said, especially as it says in that article, they would to extend them, right? They could save some money off of this year, and they need to save money on their salary cap this season. All right, and finally, the Giants, they're known to be very tough on quarterbacks. Now, it's not so much per se the Giants were going back to 1925 when Dutch Hendrian was the quarterback, although he's not the one who threw most of the passes. Their fullback, Jack McBride, is the one who threw most of the passes in 1925. But, so we're not going back to Giants. The Giants are known going back 100 years to be. No. What we're talking about here is the bald-headed dude right there in the thumbnail, okay, is Mr. Daboll, okay? It's a very tough. It's not easy, right, to pick up his offense. But the one thing is it's supposed to be, if run correctly, right, the run the way it's supposed to be, blah 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 blah. It's supposed to, it's supposed to have a lot of benefits, though, right? Like on any given play, right? It's like, you come to the line of scrimmage, what's the defense doing? Or what do you think the defense is doing, right? Well, if the defense is doing this, these guys can run these, It's not, all right, guys, we're not drawing, play in the sand. All right, Wandale, you go 5 and you come across, right? Malik, you just run a go, and Darius, you run a fly pattern. All right, on 2, break. That's guys go to the line of scrimmage. They have multiple routes that they can run. So it's not easy. Obviously not easy at all. And when Daboll says, with Dart, they got a lot of work to do. That was the one thing that you always respected with Danny Dimes, right? He put in the time. He put in the work. Okay. But once again, it's not easy, right? If you can pick it up, right, it's very, very, very beneficial. But it's not for everybody, right? But the Giants have been known to be extremely hard on quarterbacks in private sessions. For months leading up to the 2025 NFL Draft, experts, analysis, and odds makers believed that the Giants would select Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders at number 3 overall. Then suddenly, everything changed. In the late stages of the pre-draft process, it became clear that the Giants would not target Sanders in the first round and potentially not at all. True to those expectations, the Giants selected Penn State edge rusher Abdul Carter at number 3 overall before trading back into the first round to take Ole Miss quarterback Jaxson Dart. Sanders, once projected to be a top 3 pick, fell to the Browns at round 5 at pick 144 overall. Following the unprecedented slide, NFL insider Todd McShay reported that the Giants head coach Brian Daboll had a negative experience with Sanders during one of their private pre-draft meetings. Shedeur didn't have a great interview with Brian Daboll in a private visit, McShay said. An install package came in. Preparation wasn't there for it. He got called out on it, and he didn't like that, getting called out on it. Brian Daboll didn't appreciate him not liking it. I mean, that sounds a lot like, I don't know. Sounds a lot like his father. If you called Prime out on Coach Prime out on something, he wouldn't like that at all either. He's a very proud man. Don't call him out on it. Not only did Sanders not like it, he was reportedly pissed at the Giants and Daboll. That's not a good look. The Giants, one, they give players an install, and there are mistakes intentionally put in the install, Albert Breer said via 98.5 The Sports Hub. He didn't catch them and got called on it. And it didn't go well after that. He was pissed that they did that to him. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? If you get pissed off and things, what are you going? I mean, what do you think's going to happen if the Giants drafted them and things don't go well? What are you going to do then? Right? So, I mean, it's. I get it. I couldn't do it. Yeah, but it's tough for a reason. They want to see who can handle it. I mean, it's not like somebody, it's twofold or whatever you want to call it, right? It's who can handle it on the field, but also you got to handle the New York area, the market, and all the fans and all that. That's not easy. That's what made Eli so good. That was another thing that made Daniel Jones kind of good. I mean, he never blamed teammates. He never blew his stack. He never, he was always very, with his answers talking to people. Now, obviously his performance on the field wasn't stellar like Eli Manning's was, but Daniel Jones always put in the time. Basically, he was always like the first guy there, the last guy to leave. And, his answers were always pretty much the same. I don't know why. Every answer, he always started with, yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, so Daniel did looked like on that third down pass in the third quarter there, 3rd and 8. You were trying to hit Slayton down by the flag. I mean, you overthrew him there. Was that on purpose, or what was kind of going on? Daniel would go, yeah. He always started off with yeah. I have no idea why, but he was very good. Maybe once again, not always on the field. That's one of the reasons why he's not on the team anymore. But he was very good at handling the New York market, the press, and all that. Same thing with Eli. Right? Very, very good. It's not easy. Everybody can do it. Right? And if you can't handle an install package, holy cow, how are you going to start handling it when things start going bad? Right? And, usually, once again, if you can't handle an install package, right, or can't handle getting called out on it or something like that, usually these teams that draft quarterbacks, especially high, don't have a quarterback, right? A lot of times, not all, but a lot of times the teams, maybe so much, not maybe like the Steelers, but a lot of teams that draft quarterbacks high, whatever, suck. Hey. So if you can't handle it, getting called out on an install package, how are you gonna handle it? When you're MetLife Stadium, you got 80,000 fans. You suck. How are you gonna handle that? Huh? We're down 31-3 halfway through the fourth quarter. So, you just drew your 4th interception. Got run back for a touch. How are you gonna handle that? Huh? That's not easy. So it's not so much, how can you handle the install package and running the plays and directing the team, but how are you going to handle everything else out there? Once again, it's not easy. Not easy at all. Apparently, Sanders felt that that was beneath him, but it's a common tactic employed by the Giants. Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com reports that the Giants are notoriously difficult on quarterbacks during their private meetings, and that it is not exclusive to prospects and rookies. But quarterbacks disliking their private visits to the Giants isn't uncommon. I don't blame them either. Don't blame them at all. Because it's once again, it's like, you're not. It's a lot of pressure and all that just going to your meet, and you're gonna and they suck. It's like, it's like twofold, right? The team sucks, and it's a horrible meet. It's it's like, so, boy, I hope they don't draft me. So, a league source told Cleveland.com that the private visits to the Giants, quarterbacks disliking their visits to the Giants isn't uncommon. For starters, their system isn't quarterback friendly from a verbiage standpoint, and they're extremely hard on quarterbacks, both rookies and veterans, in these private sessions to see what they can handle. Sanders isn't the first quarterback to come away from a visit they're dismayed. Quarterback is a pressure-packed position in the NFL, so there's little reason for the Giants and Daboll to go soft on them in private meetings. If they can't handle tricky installs and then get angry over missing an error, it's a poor indicator of what could come on the field. You got that right. Giants aren't alone in using this tactic, but are apparently more a stickler than most. Sanders couldn't handle it, and now he's in Cleveland. Dart, on the other hand, must have handled it just fine. So you don't know, right? It's just kind of, how well did Dart handle it? Because the Giants brought in, some obviously quarterbacks on their 30 visits and all that stuff. And, did Dart really knock it out of the park? or was Dart just the best one out of the guys that showed up? We'll have to wait and see. But if Dart really, knocked that out of the park, well, that's saying something. I say, because it's just not easy, right? I said, if you can get everything down, right? If you got the quarterback and the receivers, and if you can get the protection, the offense is supposed to be pretty good, but once again, it's not easy. Said you got to get the protection. You got to get the receivers, but you got to get the quarterback, right? So it's not easy, but if the quarterback makes it out of their private session, all of that, and with the install back, if Daboll and Schoen think, so maybe they're on to something. Because let's not forget, when they came here, Daniel Jones was here. They didn't draft him, right? So we'll have to wait and see. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 36 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, just once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.